Hey everyone, it's Nick from Nick's Crossing, and today on my work table we have my Lionel Post-War 736, and this is what the numbering looks like there. And the owner who gave this to me many years ago, it's actually a distant family member, said that this engine was in multiple floods, and where they live they get tons of snow, they get lake effect snow, and their basement sump pump gave out, and basically this engine was submerged in about a foot of water for a period of time. She said it happened multiple times. So I looked at her like she had, 12 heads or whatever, and it's like, all right, I'll take it and I'll see what I can do. Originally, everything was kind of roached on this engine. All of my spoke wheels had rust pitted. All of my articulating parts here had surface rust. But the crazy thing was, once I took the shell off, the motor and everything else was pristine. So pretty much all of your cloth wiring here is original. And I didn't do any cleaning with any of the windings or whatnot. I just used contact cleaner to try to get some of the dirt off. I've been kind of using this engine as a test subject engine. If you guys haven't seen these before or you're familiar with it, this is a modified smoke unit. It's the original pan and the little billow system there. But the top part with this plastic ring, that's all part of the kit, and you can see I grounded it to the frame there, and the lead wire for the power goes back to the E unit, and this is my wire for the light. So I recently upgraded this, and I thought, why not go all out and do a full, at least cosmetic restoration to this shell. This shell is all busted up. And normally I'd never do this with one of these engines. I like to keep things as original as possible, but this engine needs some help. There's lots of pitting on here. There's spots where paint, you can see up here, there's just paint gone everywhere. It's probably from being in floods, and there's a nice scar right here, like it dropped. So I definitely want to try to bring this engine back for the love of trains and preserving this toy train. Normally, I'd never do this. I like to keep things as original as possible, unless they're completely roached. So what we're going to do is we're going to use an aircraft strip that you can buy at auto parts stores, and we're going to strip this shell. I'm actually going to find a way to take the bell out of here, and the whistle is going to have to stay, but everything else, like these grab irons here, will have to come out. These are not original. I did that because the original ones were actually rusted out. I had to cut them with a Dremel tool and then extract them. So that was a lot of fun there. Also, the front here will also be repainted a nice black color. There's tons of scarring on here. And up front, if I can get the front catch off of here, this will also be repainted. I believe that includes the your cylinders here. If it doesn't, I'll see what I can do to maybe paint those by hand. And then in the back, I'm going to paint the trailing trucks here a nice black color. So it kind of all matches. Pretty much from the shell down will be original. I'm not going to get into here and take all this stuff apart. It's already calibrated and everything. I don't want to mess with that. I might eventually clean up these again with some type of polish or whatnot, but right now I'm just going to leave it as is. I just really want the shell, pretty much preserve it, like I said. All right, guys, so I got the front of the engine off with these two set screws here. And you can see all this stuff here. It's just sitting here. It's pretty easy to find out where they go. You have these two holes here. Before I put everything back, I won't show you guys, but I'll clean up all of this to get the dirt and whatnot out of there. So I'm going to gather up all of my pieces, which include the front here and this front here, and then also my shell, which is over here. I'm going to gather up all of these pieces and then take them outside to strip. I won't show you guys that. It's a pretty gross process. The chemical is extremely corrosive, so I have to wear gloves, so it's not ideal for filming, but I will bring back the finished product to show you guys. So once all the parts were dried, I like to give it a bath or a wipe down in denatured alcohol. And this helps also neutralize the reaction. It helps evaporate any water that may be hidden in any cracks or so. And it also picks up any dust or dirt or little micro fines of paint. You'll actually see it's like little specks of paint that you can't really see. It also helps open up the metal to get it ready for painting. So this is very brittle right now. If I would leave this unpainted, it may start to rust or corrode. So I did that with all the parts here. So once the engine was pretty much done being wiped down with the alcohol, and I thought all of the fines and little microchips were off of the engine, I took my heat gun and went over the entire engine trying to get off any little pieces of dust, and also found like little pieces of paper towel stuck on some of the sharper points of this model, and pretty much heated it up to also get rid of any water anywhere on this model. It does help that it's very dry out right now, so it is a little cold, but it is very dry, so that's also helping me with the painting phase of this. But I'm going to now go outside and paint these. I'll bring them back when they're all done. All right, guys, so let's bring out the fully restored and painted 736. Coming around the mountain. All right, there she is. Let's get her in frame here. How about that? Let's get a little headlight action here. So the lens has been fully restored. I actually replaced the lens, and it fell out during the stripping phase. So I think the either the denatured alcohol or acetone type material or chemical stripped the glue away, so it didn't have to be drilled out, which was awesome. So I didn't damage the front cowl any more so than it already is. The other lantern is still missing. Here's the other one that's complete, but it looks pretty cool. Other things, like I said before, I was going to paint basically from this piece and up. I painted the trailing trucks, and I'll actually move the camera over in a second and give you guys a side view. Other things with this engine, I actually had to take out all of the bracketing here that's already been replaced. I did this on my own. The original brackets, like I said, rusted completely off. Basically, they're in like 4 or 5 pieces on here. I had to Dremel them out. It was awful. So this has been replaced a few years ago. Other details, the bell swivels now freely. It doesn't get caught up on the screw. All right, so on top of redoing the headlight lens here to make it much better than what it was, nice and clear, I also ran wire from the E unit up to the headlight, replacing the old school cloth wire. And then when I was in there, I also made a Y connection from the headlight wiring up to the smoke unit. And then when I was in there, I also replaced the old school pellet smoke unit. They call it a bowl smoker, which is kind of funny. It's an official Lionel term. Didn't make that one up. I replaced that old system in there that was all caked up. Someone probably put liquid smoke in there with the pellets, so it made it completely useless. So I turned it into a liquid smoker. And also liquid smoke, like this bottle here of the Mega Steam smoke is like $6.50 compared to buying a little pill bottle for about $12 or $15, if you can even find them. I've gotten some at train shows, but now that this engine is completely converted, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's turn the camera over here so you guys can get a better view of the side. Alright guys, so side view now, so you guys can see all the cool detailing on the mold and everything. Automatically, you guys are probably looking at the 736 logo, and that was actually printed off by myself. I used a Cricut printer, which is a consumer grade CNC style machine. You can print basically like vinyls and like t-shirts, and you can actually sew with them. It's insane. So I printed out my first ever logo that's on each side of the train. So I think it came out great. It's a little oversized, but I think it ties the whole engine together. And it is kind of a project engine, so I'm not too upset about it. And yes, I know it's not all original. I completely understand, but like I said earlier, this was all an act of preserving the engine, trying to keep it around even longer. So now we're gonna get this train rolling. All right guys, all aboard. it for this restoration video of the Lionel 736 Post-War Berkshire. This has definitely been an undertaking of a project, and I'm so glad I can bring new life into this old school engine. I would never do this to any of my other classic trains because they are in much better shape. But this engine is back to life here on the railroad with a couple of new upgraded parts, and she's looking great. But anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing and make sure you hit the bell for updates on live streams, train videos, adventures, and content just like this. I love to hear your guys' comments, and make sure you give the video a like. It's the easiest thing to do, and it really helps out the channel. But guys, thank you so much for watching this awesome restoration video, and I hope to see you all in future videos and adventures. Thank you so much.